Hello, YouTube. D. Baudry here. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is metalworking, and you'll see a lot of videos where my drill press gets pulled out, and I machine stuff, milling mostly, on my drill press. And I've got a bunch of fixtures and mills and things like that for doing that kind of work. The other thing that I enjoy doing is making stuff for EVs. So this is a battery pack that I have put together. So this BMS has been heavily modded by me. It was originally rated for 40 amps, and now it's more capable of, like, say, 300 amps. I've got a battery pack made out of Samsung 30Q cells that's laid out in 20S10P. Not quite 30 amp hours. I would say probably more like, say, 28 amp hours. And then over here, I've got one made out of Panasonic INR 18650B cells, which are 3400 milliamp hours. And this is 20S9P. Basically I tried to build these things so that they would both be similar capacity. These cells were significantly less money than the 30Qs, but in this arrangement here, these cells should perform equally well as the 30Qs. So anyway, yeah, both packs will be completely in parallel, and I'll explain a little bit of that stuff. So let me pull my clamp on meter out of the way. So right now, the Panasonic pack is on my BMS only because it's brand new. It's never been balance charged before. It's never been on a charger like this before. Any charging it's done has been as individual cells on an RC charger. And so this is all my balance connections going to the BMS. Here is BAT minus, and here is BAT plus, and those are going, so BAT plus is going to my charging port, which is hanging over the side here. So this XT90 is my go-to charging port because they can handle 90 amps, and I regularly charge at, my home-built charger can do 30 amps. And so the XT90s hold up super well, and the other side of that equation is I make a cap like this. It's an XT90 female, and I put a string in it, and then I hot glue and some heat shrink that string inside there. So the pins inside the connector are completely isolated. And then this is my weather cap, so I can plug that in, to that exposed XT90 for protecting it from weather and whatnot, and keep dirt and water out. And then the other end of it, I put just a screw lug on here so I can screw it down somewhere. And then that whole thing stays with the scooter or bike or whatever. But XT90s work super well as a charging port, way better than, say, like XLRs or whatever other people use. I use them on all of my builds. With eBay, you find lots of interesting things, and AliExpress is good for this too. So this little piece right here is soldered onto the two connections for the XT90 connector, and then it makes that XT90 panel mount. So just put a couple screws through those tabs, and that XT90 can get mounted in something. So that works super well too. Makes the XT90 panel mount and highly secure. And with this on there, now it's weather protected and pretty darn waterproof. So I've been pretty happy with that for a solution. All right, so really what I wanted to show was just a general layout of this battery pack and how this is all working together. What will happen is the Samsung pack and the Panasonic pack will be 100% in parallel. So here's the balance connectors for the Samsung pack. Here is the main battery wires off the Samsung pack. Here is one of two. So there's the two balance connectors to the BMS for the Samsung pack. And of course these over here are the balance wires going back to the BMS for the Panasonic pack. So everything will run in parallel. This right here is the BAT plus connection for the new Panasonic pack. This here is the BAT plus connection for the Samsung pack. And then all that stuff will come out here. So there's your BAT plus and BAT minus as 6-AUG wires. And then of course this wire right here, that also comes out the side of the box. That's my charge minus wire. And tangle up on stuff here. There we go. And so that wire right there goes over to my charging port. So anyway, on the BMS, and my phone. So on every BMS I've ever seen, maybe there's something out there because I obviously haven't seen everything. You have three connections on the BMS, for power essentially. So this over here is C minus. It'll be they're almost always labeled this way too. So C minus means charge. Charge minus. It doesn't mean power. It doesn't mean anything other than this is where you charge. A lot of people make this mistake. They connect their scooter or e-bike or whatever up to C minus, and that's not where you connect it. This is for charging. Over here, this is P minus. And if I took this thing apart, you would see that there is a copper bus right down the middle, and you have a bank of MOSFETs here and a bank of MOSFETs here. These ones over here are C minus, so they shut off when you overcharge your pack. These ones over here, they shut off when you over discharge your pack, like too much current or you have a cell going low. So they do different functions. These ones are purely shutting off current for when you're charging. These MOSFETs over here, they serve a dual role. You know, if cell voltages drop too low, they will shut off. If you're pulling too much current, say like in a dead short situation, they will shut off to protect the battery pack or to protect everything from, you know, excessive current draw. So this is P minus. This is C minus. This is for charging. This is for powering your EV. All right, this side over here, this is battery minus. This is what connects up to the battery pack. So there's two wires on here. This one right here will go over to the Samsung pack, and this one right here goes over to the Panasonic pack. There are copper buses in here. So right down the center here, there's a copper bus, and over here there are two copper buses. And just about every BMS on the planet has some variation of this, but nevertheless there's a high degree of consistency in this. And there's a much lighter weight copper bus right here on C minus. Because this side here, you know, if you're a big charger, you're probably charging at like say 30, 40, maybe 50 amps. So this copper bus doesn't need to be as beefy as this one. This one here needs to be able to handle what the new capability of this BMS is, i.e. like 300 amps. So, and then right here, there are two more copper buses. Again, they need to be able to handle 300 amps. And then I've replaced all of the shunts that used to be in here with much larger ones so that they too can handle 300 amps. And everything here, from over here to here, can all handle that 300 amps easily. So just wanted to talk about just the general layout of things and what people do wrong with setting up a BMS on an EV.